But not this CC. Different CC.
And Workers Cards! Hi, team! Happy Friday, my fantastical Farrageets. Oh boy, we've made it through another week, and there's an extravaganza this weekend. So we've actually got some really cool stuff we're going to talk about. One card in particular and why it's so good and might help you in your side deck.
Today we're actually here to talk about a very underrated hand trap that we really didn't even know about. It caught our eye because someone in our TCG Player store bought every single copy of it.
Which we didn't even know we owned until someone bought it.
So we actually went and picked up a couple playsets just for us, and we've been testing it, and it's actually been pretty darn good.
Now, when most people hear the word hand trap, they think of the Ghost Girls, or they think of Phantasma, or they think of the long-dreaded and well-banned Maxi to 3. And well, when you think of the last one, we're actually not falling too far from that tree, so stay tuned. We're going to talk about a card that isn't Maxi, but it's a C.
So in today's video, we're going to actually go over the top 5 decks in the meta and how this hand trap impacts every single one of them. But before we get into this video, if you guys are not already a subscriber, feel free to go down, hit that subscribe button, throw this video a like, and put in the comment section down below what your favorite hand trap this format is.
We also have an Instagram. It's at Yugioh. We're on there all the time if you want to go and interact with us a little bit more. We also have a super wholesome Discord community. It's absolutely popping. I'm on there all the time. We do remote duel tourneys like today on stream, so if you want to sign up, you're more than welcome to go to in the tournament announcements channel and sign up. And then last but not least, if you want to further support the channel and all of our shenanigans, we have a Patreon. The end of the month is coming near, so make sure you sign up and get it on the bloopers, side decks, merch, rewards, remote dueling sessions, the whole shebang. It's a great time, but if not, that's okay. We're just happy you're here. So with that being said, if you clicked on this video without somehow seeing the thumbnail or even bothering to look at it, we're talking about Contact C. If a lot of you haven't heard about Contact C, that's okay. I didn't either until literally 2 weeks ago. So let's talk about Contact C as a card. It actually came out about 3 years ago, probably 4. It was reprinted in the 2018 Megatins and originally came out of Extreme Force. It is a common in both rarities, which is just absolutely lovely to all my budget players and all my real high rarity players. Hey, common gang, let's go.
First dead. It's the only one that matters.
But weirdly enough, this card is actually starting to see play in a lot of side decks because it has some really niche interactions that are really neat. So let's actually talk about this card, and when we read it together, I'm sure you'll figure out why it's so good. And if not, we're gonna explain it to you.
Alright, so heading on into the card, Contact C is a level 6 Earth insect monster, so it does fall into that Maxi category, being a C and all, and it has the effect where when your opponent normal or special summons a monster or monsters except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand to the opponent's field in defense position. This card's controller cannot fusion, synchro, exease, or link summon unless they use this card as material. Ooh. So this is a kind of like hand trappy floodgate, which is really interesting lately.
It's interesting because a lot of cards like D-Barrier don't include link summoning because link summoning was not a mechanic that exists yet. So this is, I think, one of the first like hand traps that includes the word link summoning.
It's kind of cool. So coming in at our number 5 slot for like the top 5 decks in the meta, it's kind of like that control slot. It's a little bit more open because this format is super diverse. I picked Zodiac Eldritch and Logan picked the Earth Control Machine or the
Dozer
Control.
Doddle.
Yeah, that deck.
Beep beep choo choo.
So in the Zodiac Eldritch matchup, the one that I picked, it's very, very good, especially post sides game 2 and 3 because you know what your opponent is playing.
Yeah.
And obviously when they just normal summon a zoo, you just give them this card from your hand. They aren't typically playing any generic links, and if they are, they're not going to be able to get that Exeese climb up into, you know, like a 4 material, 5 material zoos, or if they're trying to go first, they can't even make Dryden because they have to use this card as the material. So it kind of just locks them out of their extra deck. All you have to do now is face like 2 or 3 back row and maybe a hand trap. It does significantly slow the deck down.
I like to think of this card as kind of like an Ibly 2.0. Ibly's been getting a lot of traction lately too because she obviously is just a very great card for telling your opponent they can't do anything and kind of stops Nibiru, stops a lot of things. And in that same vein, Contact C is really good because in the Earth Machine, Earth Control, Dozer, whatever the hell that deck is called, they tend to go through Infinitrack Goliath really quickly. Infinitrack Goliath requires 1 non-link Infinitrack monster, and Contact C is not an Infinitrack monster, believe it or not. And then Anger Knuckle requires 2 machine monsters. And again, Contact C is an insect monster, not a machine, so that pretty much screws up their whole playline because they really want to start linking into the Goliaths, getting everything in Graveyard, and going into Anger Knuckle, which is kind of like their 2 main sources of doing whatever it is they do with their big Infinitracks.
It's just good to note that between these 2 decks, there are a lot of flex spots in the extra deck, which are, you know, typically your generic Link 2s like your Phoenix, or some people may be playing Cerberus, maybe even a Unicorn, but to force your opponent to go into these on their first turn is really, really suboptimal for them to make these play lines just to get this card off their field so they can continue to play. So you're not necessarily always going to be like stopping your opponent's turn, but you're going to kind of make them play a little sloppy or even just like make weird routes to their lines and sometimes cut off their line in general, just so that you can play even more and gain that advantage on your turn.
It really throws off the decks that have a very linear play style and kind of follow a very specific source of combo. This really throws it off. So even if you're not necessarily stopping their turn, you're really stopping their brain for a minute because they've got to kind of regroup and be like, oh God, what do I do? If they even can out it.
So then coming in our number 4 slot is Tri-Brigade, or the more popular, the one that I've been playing a lot lately, is Zodiac Tri-Brigade. We just covered the Zodiac aspect of the deck, so you don't really need to go into that, but normal summoning Rat, here you go. Have a Contact C. Your turn's over. It's pretty awesome. And then when it comes to the Tri-Brigade aspect, the Tri-Brigade aspect can kind of play around Contact C just a little bit because they special summon monsters from the extra deck. So to my understanding, the wording on Contact C is they can't actually link summon, whereas the Tri-Brigade monsters don't link summon. They special summon from the extra deck by banishing the materials from the graveyard.
Which is crazy.
It is actually pretty, like, bonkers. I've been playing the deck for a while, and it's nutty. But once again, in that vein of, like, you know, just trying to stop your opponent, they're not allowed to go into the Farajit because it takes, you know, generic Beast Warrior, Wing Beast type monsters, and Contact C is an insect, so that also just stops any of those generic links. They also can't really link climb up into the Appaloosa at that point unless they've got, like, nutty extenders, which the deck doesn't really play, so it does stop their turn. Like, what are they gonna do? Maybe just cheat out the Simorg to get to the barrier statue? Post side decks, games 2 and 3, you should already have ways to deal with that regardless.
In case you guys haven't really figured it out, this is definitely more of a going second card, so this is definitely like a games 2 and 3, you're siding in, you're going second, this is the type of card for it. I mean, you could play it going first, but that's not. Moving on to slot number 3, we're talking about Prank Kids. This deck sucks. We can't stand it. And I will say that with full amounts of passion. I don't want to watch you do a turn for 40 minutes.
On my turn and your turn.
Yeah, it's just
No
the game's over before I even get to play a card. It's just super annoying. So give them a Contact C, ruin their day, and make them have a 2-second turn. It feels awesome.
Fun fact, all of the Prank Kid Link monsters require Prank Kids. You know what Contact C is not? A Prank Kid.
Oh my God, wow. If you play that deck, I'm really sorry. Make a better deck choice. I love you, but Contact C is coming for you.
And then for our number 2 pick, we're moving on to Shaddoll Invoked. I do think that this is kind of just, you know, a little bit more player preference or just, you know, what everyone else thinks, but I do think Shaddoll Invoked is probably the second best deck when the turbo turns out to be pretty darn good. So Contact C being super transparent is not the best hand trap against Shaddoll Invoked. However, there are certain play lines, certain hands, certain, you know, like drawing patterns where Contact C can just end the turn. Because the typical play is like normal summon Alistair, get asked, have the invocation anyways. But then when they're trying to go into the Moon Maiden, or even if they're playing the El Mirage route, can't do that if you give them a Contact C.
Oh no, what are you gonna do now, Alistair?
And then obviously they have the invocation, but invocation says you can only fusion summon from your hand if you're not making an invoked monster. So that is kind of cool because no one's playing the Earth invoked monster. I don't even know its name. I know it's a vanilla.
Is it the big red guy?
Yeah, it's like a big rock. Yeah, I think
not
it's...
Molanglacia, the Magellanic.
Yeah, I think it's an Earth, a rock, I think, and it's literally a vanilla.
Got like one eye.
It's a vanilla, it's weird. But yeah, no one is playing that card, so they can't invocation to get it off the field. They're forced to like have the Shaddoll or the El Shaddoll fusion and have a Shaddoll in hand just so they can make what, like Cologne, and then like their play line once again doesn't really stop the turn, but it significantly halts their play and forces them to make like some really weird calculations just to try to get somewhere.
Again, all of these are supposed to say, like, not that you're completely ending their turn, which can happen, but this is to say that it's basically a stun route. This is just a way to really just put a wrench in their combo and like force them to just play a little differently. But speaking of ending turns, that brings us to our number 1 slot, the only one that really matters. We basically just made this list to put this one deck on a pedestal and let it know that we're tired of it, we're sick of it. No amount of bans will probably even hurt this deck enough to where it will matter. We're talking about Dragon Link. This deck is so gosh darn diggity dang annoying at this point in my life. It is the middle of 2021 and this deck is still good and LP is still thriving. I love you, LP, but someone's gotta go. Striker Dragon, LP, the whole dang thing, quick launch, ban the whole deck for all I care. But anyway, Contact C is a great counter to this deck because you know what they all need? dragons. You know what Contact C isn't? A dragon.
It's also gotten to the point where we have noticed that the last month or so, every Dragon Link topping deck profile has not played any generic links. So this is awesome for us because Contact C, there's no way for them to get rid of it. They normal, special, anything. Striker Dragon, nope. Most decks have even dropped Needle Fiber, they've dropped the Yugioh, they've dropped the Buster Blader Link, whatever that is. All of these are the generic links. So you literally give them a Contact C, they pass turn.
Ah, we love to see it. That's what we're here for. You know all that fluffy stuff I said? I'm like, oh, we don't want to stop your turn. No, we want to stop your turn. With this deck, we want to stop your turn. I also find it really funny that we're at a point where Dragon Link is becoming so oppressively annoying that we're resorting to common hand traps from almost 4 years ago just to do something about it. We are fiending for an answer here.
Obviously, when it comes to different decks and this card and the interactions, it really does matter, A, what your opponent's hand is, B, what your hand is, but most importantly, it depends on when you actually choose to give them this card. You have to be familiar with your opponent's strategy just as much as you are with your own. Because if you know that there's a certain spot that they can't get out of this like little contact lock that you're giving them, it just will end their turn. So do keep in mind that this is not for every single deck, but if you are playing a very aggressive deck or even just like a mid-range deck that can just one punch through or just OTK your opponent, this is the tech card for you.
But yeah, once again, this is literally like a penny stonk that you can get. It's a common printing. You can go grab it on TCG Player right now. It's there in droves because this card literally wasn't relevant until like now, and I don't even know if it's relevant now. We're just talking about it.
Yeah, at the time of recording, it's 84 cents right now, so it's under $1.
It's there.
You can get your playset for less than $3.
Ooh, value. But that's it. We just wanted to talk about these 5 decks and how Contact C is actually really good. I also find it really ironic that we're playing a card like Contact C at a time right now. But you know, things are opening back up. Locals are opening back up for some people. Hopefully our locals is opening back up. This weekend we're filming a new vlog at the locals that's 2 hours away. So we got another long day ahead of us. So it's going to be really fun this weekend. So stay tuned for another vlog of Let's Top Locals on Monday. Tonight is also our remote duel stream. If you want to come bop on by at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Signups are in the Discord right now. Links in the description box down below. We have prize support. It's a great time. And I set up a brand new stream layout, so now the streams are going to look a lot more beautiful and a lot easier to see. But that's enough C's for one video. We're going to get out of your hair. I hope you guys have a super duper Friday. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. We hope this was helpful for you because we didn't know about this. We want you to know it too because you deserve to win. Everyone, good luck at the extravaganza this weekend. If you're not playing the extravaganza, good luck kicking your friends' butts. We love you. You matter. And we will see you guys on Monday and tonight on stream. Bye!
See y'all!